Donald Trump begins to surge once more in the national average as the latest Harris/Harvard poll has Donald Trump up 8 points in a five-way race for the presidency. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video with On Point Politics, and today we're going to be looking at what the crosstabs showed for the 2024 newest Harvard/Harris poll and to see what the state margins will look like on an electoral college map. Be sure to go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want more content just like this. And so pretty much we see Donald Trump leads now by 3.5 points in the national average, with Biden falling to just 39.2%. Donald Trump skyrockets to 42.7% in the national average, while Kennedy once again begins to surge in national polling. Notice whenever Kennedy tends to surge a little bit, Trump actually gains the lead. This goes to show that Kennedy is actually taking more votes away from President Biden. And if we look, we see that when you look at the crosstabs here, we actually had to do it by the approval ratings for each candidate in these groups because of the fact that Harvard-Harris, for some reason, did not provide their crosstab data for the margins in the popular vote, which is kind of weird, but whatever. And so what I did is essentially I subtracted Trump's approval rating from Biden's, and when I ended up calculating it out, it gave me like really crazy margins for Trump. Like Trump was winning like women by 8-9 points or something like that. And I was like, yep, that's not going to happen. So what I did was I was planning on applying a 10-point swing, in favor of Biden and all these demographic margins. But what I ended up doing instead was actually applying a 5-point adjuster in favor of Biden, because I was going to do the average between the original poll and a -10 poll, which would have been the same thing as this. So this is basically what we see here. So whites essentially become a point more Democrat. We see 65 plus gets way more Republican. So that's also pretty interesting to note as well. And when we basically look at this electoral map, it's going to be really interesting because you're going to see Donald Trump do really well on this map. You see he wins 18 to 29-year-old voters by a single point. He wins women by 3. Biden's only winning with African Americans by 33. Trump wins with Hispanics by 7 points, which is like over 40 points more than what it was back then. So you're going to see a lot of shifts here as of right now. But starting out for the safe Republican states, you're going to see all these red states from the previous election go safe Republican for Donald Trump in this scenario, as well as Nebraska's first, the at-large vote, with the 3rd congressional district alongside Maine's 2nd congressional district as well, and the state of Alaska, which is going to be a 20-point victory for Donald Trump according to this demographic model, which puts that in the safe column. We also see for more safe states, for example, Iowa is 17.5 points for Donald Trump. And if you notice, all these videos where I do this modeling on, the margin for this is around, 17 to 19 points, which is roughly where the most accurate Iowa poll and Seltzer actually has the state out right now. They have the state at +18 for Donald Trump, and all of my demographic modeling for all these recent polls, including my own, has the state within 17 to 19 points. So I'd say that my basically estimation of doing this modeling may be sort of accurate. Iowa's an 18.5 point victory for Donald Trump according to this. South Carolina is a 24.4 percentage point victory for Donald Trump. The state of Texas is a 19.6 percentage point victory for Donald Trump here. And we see Florida is a 16.3 percentage point victory for Donald Trump, which puts Donald Trump at 219 safe electoral college votes. Meanwhile, President Biden is at literally just 15 points in this modeling, is right there. Because of Hispanics and Asians moving to the right in this demographic model, that's why we see the state of California become almost a likely Democrat margin. State of Hawaii is a 17-point victory for Biden as of right now. It does go in the safe column. However, I do expect the state to actually vote under 15 points for President Biden. We see the state of Vermont as of right now come in at just 27 points for incumbent President Biden. We see the state of Massachusetts at 23 points for Biden. State of Connecticut at 8.7%, which we'll get to that one in a second. State of Maryland is just at 19.5 points. And the state of DC, I don't think that works, but it's around a 69, 68 percentage point margin as of right now, 70%. Around that ballpark. And so that just puts Biden at 85 safe electoral college votes to Trump's 219 safe electoral college votes. We have the state of Wisconsin at 9.3 percentage points in this model. We have Michigan at 7.9 percentage points, and we have the state of Pennsylvania at 9.5 percentage points for Donald Trump. If you notice, Donald Trump always tends to do better in Pennsylvania than in Wisconsin when we do all the modeling, and it would make sense because there's more of a Hispanic, basically Hispanic African American population concentrated in the Philadelphia area and some of the suburbs in Pennsylvania. And if Donald Trump is gaining with African Americans and Hispanics by a lot of points and loses a point with white voters, it would make a lot of sense for Donald Trump to underperform in Wisconsin compared to Pennsylvania by a point or so. We see in the state of North Carolina, Donald Trump is up by 13.5 percentage points. We see in Georgia, Donald Trump is up by 14 percentage points there. In the state of Arizona, Donald Trump's up by 11.5. We see in Nevada, Donald Trump is up by 10.1 percentage points as of right now. That gets Donald Trump to 312 electoral college votes. And Nebraska's first is a 6.9 percentage point margin for Donald Trump as of right now. Now, going into this, for the likely Democrat states, we have the states of Washington at 9 points for Biden, state of Oregon at 6.4 percentage points for Biden, state of Illinois is actually below that, by the way. We see the state of Colorado is also below that. Connecticut is going to be an 8.7 percentage point victory. Rhode Island is going to come in at 10.1% for President Biden as of right now. And the state of Delaware is going to be a 6.5 percentage point victory for President Biden. That's almost in the lean Democrat column. We also see that the state of Maine's first is going to be a 6.5 point victory for Biden as of right now, bringing Biden to just 120 likely states. We also see in the state of New York, Biden's actually leading in that state by 10.8 percentage points. That brings him up to 148 electoral college votes there. And we see that as of right now in the state of New Mexico, Donald Trump, according to this model, is up by 3.6%. That's a really large lead. That state would flip before Minnesota, which comes in a point behind at 2.6 percentage points for Donald Trump. We see the state of Virginia at just 2.3 percentage points for Donald Trump, which is where polling currently has it. And we actually see in the state of New Hampshire, Donald Trump leads there by 1.8% according to this Harvard-Harris model right here. And we have the state a little bit higher than that. We have the state at around 2.5 points for Donald Trump. And what's actually quite interesting is that the latest poll from the state of New Hampshire, if we actually go ahead and look for it, from a very well-rated pollster out of the state of New Hampshire, Donald Trump actually leads by 2 percentage points in their latest poll. And we have that state at around 2.5 points for Trump. So it's not that hard to say that the state is going to be within the competitive range that we have it in. And even to an extent, the state of New Hampshire, that state, the last poll here was like a plus 10 poll for Biden, which is absolutely insane. Now, for New Jersey, it comes in at 3.3 percentage points for Biden in this model. We see Illinois at just 4.7 percentage points, presumably because African-American voters shift way more than whites in this poll. And we see Colorado at just 2.2% for Joe Biden. And the only tilt state on the map is going to be the state of Maine at large, which literally just comes in barely for Joe Biden at literally just 0.6 percentage points for the incumbent president. This state voted, essentially to the left of the nation by about a half a point or so in 2016, then ended up voting like almost 4 points to the left of the nation back in 2020. So it has been trending to the left, and we all basically expect this to continue to trend to the left as of right now. And so basically when you model out all of the demographic margins for the Harvard-Harris X poll, we see Donald Trump is up 345 electoral college votes to 193. And this is being friendly to Donald Trump. If you were to have actually left these margins alone, we actually see Donald Trump is leading by a lot more than that. We actually see he's winning women by 8 points. He's winning Hispanics by 12. He's only losing black voters by 28, only losing Asians by 2 points. Winning women by 8. He's winning senior plus voters like plus 65 by 21 points when he only won them by 5 last time. Like, it would be a huge difference to see those states kind of vote in that certain direction, or at least those demographic margins, that would give Donald Trump a way bigger electoral college victory. But even being friendly to Biden in this by giving him a 5 point boost, just because of the fact it's approvals and that's not the most accurate way of doing it, it still produces a similar electoral college result that all the other demographic models have been getting as of right now. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you like content just like this, and I will see you guys in the next video.